Hi everyone, welcome back to the arieknits podcast. My name is Ariel and this is a video podcast where I share all things knitting, sometimes crochet, sometimes sewing, and just a lot of yarn things and some other crafts maybe if it ever happens that I try something else. But yeah, so I will just mostly talk about things that I am working on and things I finished and that kind of stuff. So it's been a few weeks since I've recorded. I went on vacation back home to Hawaii and I had such a great time there. I mostly went because my cousin was getting married and so I went to her wedding, which was just amazing and such a good time. And she's the first person in like my immediate family to get married, and so it was just kind of a crazy experience. And I cried kind of during the whole thing, like during the entire ceremony, and also when there was speeches and stuff, I cried. It was just, but again, like all happy tears. Like it was just so awesome and I had a great time. And yeah, so great time. I also spent Thanksgiving at home with my family for the first time since I went away for college, which I think at this point was like 8 years ago, which is crazy. So that was also just a really great time. And I also did some knitting while I was home. I made sure to bring some projects. And as always, I think as most of us probably do, I brought way more projects than I could actually finish and work on. But you know, I don't know, when I'm packing, I'm like, I think I could finish 3 entire projects from start to end while on my vacation. But I did get some stuff done, and I have a lot of things to share with you because I also got a lot of things in the mail, some pre-order yarn that finally got to me, and they were kind of large purchases. So the yarn's gorgeous. I can't wait to share it with you all. And I started a lot of projects. I've finished a few things and some other like goodies too, as far as like, you know, things like wool wash and all that kind of stuff, and just lots of yarn as always. So yeah, it's good to be back and recording. Hopefully I still have these like recording muscles kind of working and can figure it out again. So yeah, I'll jump right in and talk about what I am wearing. I believe I talked about this last time I recorded, but I am wearing it now. It is the Moonset Pullover by Ozetta. So I'll stand up so you can see it. Here's where it falls on me, the hem. And let's see. Okay, so the yarn I used for this is Pasley knits in the yarn base Sailing Sport, which is the alpaca base, baby alpaca base, in the colorway Kyoto from the Japan collection. And I just really love this colorway, and also the base, the alpaca yarn is so soft. I'm so happy that I got pretty much almost my entire order from the Japan collection was with the alpaca base, and I'm so happy with it because it feels so soft and it's so nice. And yeah, I'm really happy with it, and I'm just realizing it now. So I have so many things to talk about in this video, and I'm hoping that I can get it done before the lighting gets really strange. And so hopefully, I know the lighting's getting a little yellow because it's getting close to sunset time, but yeah, please bear with me. So hopefully this color will show a little bit. It's a very light, like hazy pink, gray, brown colorway, and I just really like it because, and I think actually all of the Pasley knits variegated yarn that I've gotten, I really love how it's dyed. I don't know how it gets dyed in this way, but the variegated is very, like, I've never gotten color pooling with it. And I just love that you can see all the colors, but it's very, like, there's no huge splotches of like one color. It's all kind of like blended, if that's a right way to describe how the variegated colorway looks. And yeah, I really like it. This is the second Moonset pullover that I've ever knitted, and I loved my first one, but I feel like it's such a stable piece, and so it's a great pattern to make again in a different yarn, and so that's what I did. As far as modifications, I'm pretty sure the only modification I did, and I made these size extra small, and so also I believe, I did not measure, I forgot, but I believe that this might give me maybe 8 inches of positive ease or so. So if you're curious on how much ease that looks like on me, I think it's about 8 inches or something like that. I did size extra small, and okay, so the only modification I did was the cuff here. So the first time I made it, the sleeves for the extra small size is just knit straight and then an I-cord bind off at the end, but I wanted my sleeve cuffs to be shorter, and so I just did a knit 2 together all the way around to decrease the stitch count to be in half, and then I did my I-cord bind off. So that's what I did here. I did not, so I steam blocked this. I didn't wet block it yet, so I mean it fits okay so far now, so we'll see what happens when I wet block it, but so far I'm loving how it all worked out, and I'm really happy with it. So that is what I'm wearing, and let's get right into finished objects. So also bear with me, there are so many things that I had to bring out to share in this video. They're kind of all spread out over here, so I might have to like reach over. Might take me a few seconds to grab what I want. So yeah, just FYI, just so you know what's happening here. Okay, so the first finished object I want to talk about, I finished this before I went on my trip, but I just blocked it yesterday, and they're dry now, which is really great, are some socks. So these are, the pattern is the Day Hike Socks by Hygge Canyon Knits, and these were, the pattern was made for the Woolberry camp for collective members that happened, I think maybe, was it in October? It was a few months ago or a couple months ago. But that's the pattern, and then also the yarn I used was the Woolberry berry sock set in, so this main base color is Camp Woolberry, but the sock set that came with our kits for the camp, the virtual camp, had 3 minis with it, so the blue, the yellow golden color, and the magenta pink. And it looks so good together, all of the colors. I am in love with the Camp Woolberry speckled colorway. I think it's just really pretty, so I of course also have more skeins of that color in particular. But these socks are just so cute. I love the stripes at the top and also near the toe, and also the 2 colors on the heel, which is really fun. And I am excited to wear these. It is cold here in Seattle. This past week, it actually snowed, and I've only been living here for maybe 4 years, but in those 4 years, it doesn't really snow in November or December. Like, it usually snows like later on in the winter, like in February or something, but it's actually snowed and it's cold. So it's making me feel like I want to knit more socks pretty much, because I've been using all of my knitted socks. So here's that. I think they're just so cute. Yeah, and I'm really happy with them. So fun. Okay, so that's finished object number 1. Did I say everything about them? Yeah, pattern, yarn. Yeah, okay, next one. Oh, okay, the next one I want to talk about is one that I don't actually have the finished object with me because I gave it as a gift, or it was, yeah, so I made the Hyacinth bucket hat. The pattern is by Sari Nordlund, and maybe if my editing skills can figure it out, I'll put a picture here because I did take a picture of the finished object, and I made it for my cousin's grandma back home in Hawaii, and so I started and finished it there. It was actually the first thing that I worked on when I got to Hawaii, and I've never made a bucket hat. Like the only hats I've ever knitted were beanies, and so I was a little nervous about making this, but I love Sari Nordlund's patterns, and so I had full trust in it that it was going to work out, and I thought it turned out pretty good, and it was really cute. So yeah, and the yarn I used for it is, I think I do have a ball of yarn of it here somewhere. Okay, so I used this yarn. I got it from Joann's. It is, I believe the brand is Lily, and it's the sugar and cream denim. It says it's a worsted weight yarn, and it is, I believe, 100% cotton. Let me check. I'm pretty sure it's 100% cotton. And I was not sure. I'm pretty sure the pattern for this hat calls for like a bulky weight cotton yarn or something. So I decided to hold 2 strands of this together, and my gauge was actually quite off. And so, as in like, maybe it would work with just 1 strand, but I did 2 because I just was not sure. So, but I was on a time crunch to make it. So I just went with it, and I just kept trying it on, and I actually did make some modifications to it, and it was mainly just like I didn't knit as many rows or rounds as the pattern said to, because my gauge was just that my stitches were large compared to what the actual gauge in the pattern says for it to be. But it worked out fine, it looked fine, and my main concern was the brim for the bucket hat. I was worried it was just gonna flop down, like it wasn't gonna be stiff enough to stand up, but it was, and so I felt really happy with it. And yeah, I can say that now I've knitted a bucket hat, which is really cool. And it's so cute that I'm actually planning on making at least 1 more. My mom wants one, and so I have some same brand of yarn, same type, the 100% cotton, the sugar and cream, but in a black color. So we'll see how that works out. I'm hoping it works out okay. And so yeah, hopefully and then as far as this actual color goes, if you're curious, I got it in the color Indigo, which is just a dark blue denim looking color. Okay, so that's finished object number 2. I have a 3rd finished object, and this one was the one project that I started and finished while I was on my vacation in Hawaii. And I'm happy I finished it because I was able to wear it while back home. So this is the Soho top. The pattern is by Caidree, and the yarn I use is from Woolberry. I got it in the base berry merino in the colorway Haven from the Garden Walk collection, and it turned out exactly as I wanted it to. So I'll move it closer here so you can see this color. Hopefully it focuses. And so Haven, the colorway, is, I believe, well, it is a variegated color, but it is very like blended, and the different colors are not that like, what's the word, like contrast to each other, so it works really well together. Or, I mean, you know, as a whole, it looks just like a nice, very blended, but like lots of depth in the colors is what I'm trying to say. So it is there's light pinks, there's some like gray brown mauve colors in there, but I really like how that looks together. And what I did was I held 2 strands together because I think the pattern calls for a DK weight, or actually it says for 2 fingering weight held together, I believe. But so that's what I did, but you can use a DK weight if you want. And yeah, it's just a very classic shape. I really like the neckline on this, and I'm just really happy with it. I'm looking at my notes here, and I realized I forgot to put the sizing, but I'm pretty sure I made the smallest size, so that might be extra small in this. And yeah, I will say I knew that it was a garter stitch, as you can see, and I was like, oh, nice, so I can just knit, right? But I forgot that once you join under the arms, you're working in the round, and garter stitch in the round means you're knitting for one round and then purling for an entire round. And so that was interesting, but you know, it was actually not as bad as I thought it would be, like having to swap back and forth. I used to like really hate purling, but nowadays it doesn't bother me so much as it used to. So it was actually a very nice and meditative knit that I could do. It's upside down. And I was able to wear it back home, and it was not too hot. I was worried because I held 2 yarns double, and it is kind of a thicker fabric that it would feel hot in Hawaii, but it actually was not bad to wear. It was really nice. And yeah, I forget if I said this, I did not block it yet, so I am expecting for it to grow a little bit in length because it is garter stitch. So I'm curious to see how that will look once I block it, which hopefully I'll do soon. Yeah, that's that. I think it's really cute. I like the color with the pattern. Like, I think this was a really good match. Okay, and then my last finished object is kind of finished. It's mostly finished. I just did not sew on the buttons, and I have one pocket, which I'll discuss, that I did not sew on yet. But, okay, so this is the Miles shirt jacket. The pattern is by Ozetta, and it's a little wrinkly because I've been wearing it like every day since I've, quote, finished knitting it and weaving in the ends. I mean, that's pretty good. When finishing, weaving in the ends is kind of like a big deal. So I kind of call it finished, right? So yeah, so again, Miles shirt jacket. This is actually the second one that I have made of this pattern. The yarn that I used for the first one was using the Wool Dreamers Manchalope yarn. It's the yarn that is recommended and was made in the Ozetta, like that version of it. But this time I wanted to make it in something else, in a different yarn, because I had some trouble. I didn't fully, I think, enjoy the experience of using an unspun wool, which I think is what that is. Like, I really didn't enjoy that it kept breaking on me. And I love the end product, but I wanted to make it again. So the yarn I used for this version is from Sewrella Classic DK in the colorway Rest, which is a light brown. I would say it's a golden brown. And when I look at the brown, I think teddy bear for some reason. Like, I don't know why, but that's kind of the brown that I see with this. And maybe I'll like put it on. We'll see how it goes with like sleeves, sweater sleeves. So maybe you'll get an idea on how it looks. So here it is on me. It has that, do I need a tippy toe or get on this chair? Okay, it has that classic like curved hem that I really like about this pattern. And with all the other kind of like Miles, the named Miles patterns from Ozetta, is that curved hem, which I really like. And there are buttonholes, but I did not sew on the buttons yet. And there's also supposed to be 2 pockets, but let me tell you, hopefully, a quick story. I don't know why actually, I know what happened. So I was looking at yardage for this when I was gonna buy yarn to make this pattern, and it said a certain amount, but I think it might be different if you're using a different weight yarn. So I used a DK weight yarn, which I think is a smaller yarn than the pattern. I'm pretty sure the pattern says Aran weight, but DK works. Like, I got gauge because I think the only reason why the pattern says Aran weight is because that Wool Dreamers Manchalope yarn. So also so sorry that I'm probably butchering the name on that. It's a very light yarn, even though it's thick, and so it's really just very airy. So you could use a DK weight, I think, in my opinion, but maybe the yardage is different if you're doing that. So I ended up running short on yarn, but that could also be because I think I had to add more length to the sleeves, because there's some patterns that I feel like I have to add more length to sleeves than they say. I've never actually like measured the length of my arm and to see if it's average or longer than normal, or longer than the average for sizing charts. I should probably do that. I should probably know that information, but I don't right now. So anyway, I think I just ran out of some yarn. So when I made this, this is a project I brought to Hawaii to work on, but I didn't quite get to it. I actually started with the 2 pockets because I used those as my gauge swatch. So what happened is, once I worked, you work from the top, you do the back, do the 2 fronts, join under the arms, and then once I got a little under the arms, I worked both sleeves to make sure that I had enough yarn for the sleeves, and then I had to cut it short for working from under the arm by maybe like 4 inches. Like, this is supposed to be kind of a bit longer, and I had to just cut off some. It's a fine, honestly, it's actually a great length. I really like the length, but I did have to cut it short so that I could use, I think I almost used an entire skein to do the curved hem section. So like from the highest part to the lowest part for the front and back, like I think it almost used an entire skein. And then I still had to do the button bands on both sides and the neckband. And how this is constructed, you can't work the neckband first. You have to save it for the end, because, or at least before or after you work the button bands, because it connects. You need to pick up stitches from the button band. So, because usually if I'm running low on yarn, I like to do the neckband and all the extra stuff first before finishing the body part, but I couldn't, so I had to take a guess. And I did the button bands, and you can definitely tell, but it doesn't bother me, that the side with the holes is a lot wider than the other side. Yeah, you can see that here, because I ran out of yarn. But then after I did that, I was like, that's fine, because at least the wider side will be on top of the buttons. And then I ran out of yarn, and I said, I still need to do the neckband. What am I gonna do? And I was like, okay, I have 2 pockets that I don't really need, and so I frogged 1 pocket, and I used the entirety of the yarn from the 1 pocket to make my neckband. And also, I did make another modification. The neckband is supposed to be knitted double and folded, so it's supposed to be folded, but again, didn't have enough yarn. I think I could have unraveled the second pocket to, make the second half so I could fold it over, but I thought that this would look fine anyway. Like, it didn't have to be folded over. And I was like, maybe I want 1 pocket. Would it be weird to just have 1 pocket? I don't know. So I haven't sewn it on yet because I'm a bit worried about it. I'm not that worried, but I have no idea. So that's the Miles shirt jacket. I love how it turned out. I, again, have been wearing it pretty much every day since I finished knitting it. And I also blocked it, so we're good there. I just need to sew on the buttons and sew on the 1 pocket. But other than that, I really like how it turned out. It's so soft. I really like it in the DK weight yarn. And yeah, I guess my one thing would be maybe buy another skein or just buy some extra yarn. If you're doing a DK weight version, I'm not sure what happened there as far as the yardage goes, because I was okay yardage wise with the other yarn, but it's probably because I used a DK weight yarn instead. But again, I really like how it turned out. It's totally fine, and I love wearing it, which is kind of the main thing for me. Whew, okay, so that is the 4th and last finished object I have to talk about, and we put that there. I'm gonna take a quick coffee break. coffee is from Coffeeholic. It's so good, and I got the peppermint mocha, and it's really good. Okay, now on to the next section, which is my works in progress. And I have a couple, or I have a few, maybe 4. I have listed 4, so we'll see. I kind of feel like I maybe have missed some things here. I like to write down my notes before I start filming so that I have something to like look at. So if I missed something and I didn't, it's probably because I didn't write it, but we'll see, we'll see. Okay, first work in progress. I don't have too much to share, but if you remember, probably in my last video, I talked about one of the projects I was bringing with me to Hawaii to work on, and that is the Fur cardigan by Larka of Fiber Tales. And so far, I have the back. I finished the back of this cardigan, and it was mainly my airplane knitting project because it was just worked flat stockinette. The only thing that maybe wasn't so great is that the edging has this, actually it might be hard to see because the yarn is dark, but the edging has this detailing that you do some yarn over and you like have to drop stitch, or they're not, it's not a, I think it's called caliper cables, I think is what it's called. So you do have to drop some yarn to, and then pick it up and mess with it like that. And so I was like, maybe it wasn't a great idea for working on the airplane, especially when the lights got darker, because it's kind of hard to see, especially with dark yarn and you're having to take stitches off to do, you know, fancy kind of stitch work, but nothing bad happened, so I was all good there. But I did finish the back, and this is all I have of it so far. I did not cast on the fronts of the cardigan or the sleeves or anything like that, but I am really happy with how this is looking so far. This is the first time I am knitting something with a tweed yarn, so I really was super excited to see how that looks all worked up in a big piece like this. The yarn I'm using is from Woolberry in Berry Tweed Base. It's the fingering weight base in the colorway For Good and Proper from the Downton Abbey collection. And yeah, I think I might feel like I'm understanding why people like tweed and why it's a thing, because it looks very, very nice, and looks more, not that it's important, but it does look very much like, oh wow, like you hand knit this, like it looks really cool, you know. Looks very fancy, I think. Looks very, and also cozy. So I'm just gonna keep holding this up. But yeah, so this is all I have of that cardigan so far. Not really sure when I'm gonna pick it back up again, but I am glad to have the back done. Okay, so that is number 1. All right, looking at my notes, what to talk about next. Okay, let me grab this, and then the yarn. Okay, so this second one I want to talk about is one I've been working on. I casted this on, I think when I came back, so earlier this week. It's the, oh, it looks so good on camera. It's the Aurelia Pullover by Sari Nordlund. And this pattern, when I saw the test knit or the call for testers come out, I really wanted to make it or to do the test knit, but I just did not have yarn, did not have the time. So I could not wait for the pattern to actually come out. And it finally came out, and then I finally got yarn for it, and so I really want to wear it this winter. Ooh, it looks so good on camera. Okay, so the yarn I am using is from Sewrella in the base Cashmere DK and in the colorway Butterscotch. Is that right? Yes. So here it is in the skein form. It is very much butterscotch color, a nice golden caramel brown color, and I thought it would be perfect. I think the Sari Nordlund's version of this is also in a very similar brown caramel color, and so I liked her version and wanted to get something very similar color-wise, and I'm liking it so far. I realized, I'm pretty sure I have not made like a full-on cabled sweater in a very long time, and so yeah, again, I was really excited to start this, and because I feel like it was time. There's also baubles in here, which I think in this pattern look very cute. So that's that. I am currently working on one of the sleeves right now because I just like to see how that looks. I didn't work, usually I like to work a little bit more of the body before doing the sleeves, but I finished a skein of yarn at this point and I was like, well, I could either continue working on the body with a new skein or I'll just start working on the sleeves. And I was like, it's enough to start working on the sleeve. And the sleeve has, oh my gosh, this entire like cable pattern down the sleeve too. And I think it's so cute. It's so pretty. I'm really obsessed with this pattern. I think it's really nice. And so I'm excited to see how this finishes up so that I can wear it. And I do want to say, I want to mention, there is a reason why I decided to get this in the cashmere DK base. So, and also this was from the fall tonals from Sewrella. So I think she's switching over to winter tonals very soon. So I had to make sure that I got this while the fall tonals were still out. But I'm kind of experimenting different bases because I've always used just the normal or like the regular, like if I got a DK, it would just be the 100% superwash merino. But the cashmere DK, this yarn is 80%, oh, what does this say? Oh, superwash wool, 10% cashmere and 10% nylon. And I'm curious about, I think I have gotten a cashmere base like this, the 80-10-10. Is that how people say that in shorthand? I have gotten it before, and I was always like, when I'm feeling it versus the 100% superwash merino, I'm always like, I don't know if I can actually tell the difference. Like, how can people tell the difference? Like, if I was a yarn dyer, how would I know if like, the labels are all off? Like, what if I forgot which one I was dyeing? Would I be able to feel it and know which base it is? And I will say, I think it's harder for me, it's harder to feel it when it's in a skein form, like the difference. But once it's knitted up, I think you can really tell the difference between, even though it's just 10% cashmere and 10% nylon, like that's the only difference. You can kind of feel it when it's knitted up. And so I want to see what it feels like wearing an entire sweater that is of this cashmere base, because this might just be a me thing, but some of my sweaters, which are 100% superwash merino, which is supposed to be soft, it is soft to the touch, it's soft to wear, sometimes start to feel a bit itchy to me. And I'm not sure if that's me being crazy, but I want to see and compare if I make a sweater that's similar to my other ones, but in the cashmere base, if I will actually be able to tell the difference while I'm wearing it. So that's kind of a very long story on why I am making this in a cashmere base. If that's interesting at all to you, I'm excited to see how it feels. It feels very soft right now. So, and I love the sweater, so we'll see. We'll see. But I am, again, I don't think it'll really like matter that much. It's not that big of a deal, but I am curious to see how and if it'll feel any different to me. But I am loving all the cables on this. I always tend to, with cable patterns, I always tend to like make one mistake in a cable crossing, like do it the opposite way. So there's plenty of chances for me to get one wrong in this pattern. But we'll see how I do. So far, I think I've been doing okay, but maybe you'd be able to spot it better than me if I end up making a mistake somewhere. But yeah, hopefully I can get the neckband on this maybe once I finish this sleeve, if I have some leftover yarn in the skein, I'll work on the neckband first before continuing anywhere else. But yeah, I have been working on this quite a lot. I did start it this week, so I think this is pretty good progress. Okay, put this down. The next one, I have it somewhere here. Okay, oh, let me get some extra things here. Okay, so I started making the Kelly crew neck by the patterns by Alexi of Two of Wands, and it is a crochet pattern. It's a crochet sweater. I've never crocheted a sweater before, so I'm really excited about this. This is what I have so far. It starts from the back, worked flat in a herringbone double crochet, I think is what the stitch is. And I am using yarn from Sewrella in the classic sport base in the colorway Jazz in the Park, which is from the Autumn in New York collection. And this is it in skein form, and it is so pretty. I am actually like really obsessed with this color. I don't know how to describe it besides like it does just look like a water, like if you took colors of a picture in some park, that's just like the ideal looking park, it would be all of this. I like that the green is not, it's never like too bright in here. Like it's a very foresty, soft green with the most like soft pinks as well. Like again, it's not bright. And the browns are also like pinky brown, unless that's just me like seeing everything is somehow pink because I love pink. But I think it is just a really nice colorway. And there's also blue in here, so it's like the sky blue, and it's just a really pretty yarn. And so I'm really excited to see this all worked up. So skein form in the cake, it's kind of messy because I've been using it, and then worked up in the herringbone double crochet. No color pooling yet. You can see like the patterns kind of showing up, but no color pooling. And I am not alternating skeins because I just don't really like doing it unless I feel like I really, really have to. But so far so good. And I did want to show this because I did gauge swatch, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's also good because I've never crocheted with this stitch before, so I really was like, I should probably do a gauge swatch to practice the stitch too. And I measured it and it worked out. I am using a crochet hook. Ooh, I'm gonna talk about this in the acquisition section, but I am using, I believe it's one size smaller than the pattern recommends because I think I crochet very loosely. And so yeah, again, gauge swatch was really helpful for this one, especially because it's crochet and I just have no idea how maybe certain stitches may grow or not compared to others with yarn and crochet tension and all that. And if you know, it's the Sewrella crochet hook. But again, I'll talk about this more in the acquisition section. But again, I also started this week, and because I got the yarn this week, and I've just been really enjoying it. It's super nice to just have something that's like, it's the same stitch, you just go back and forth, and to see it all kind of, all the colors work up together. So that's been that. Let me put this away. I really just love looking at this color. Like, it's so pretty. Okay. And then, okay, one more, I think, sort of. Oh no, not one more. There's more things that I brought, but I didn't write in my notes, so we're gonna have to wing it, sort of. Okay, wait, one thing at a time. Okay, I do want to talk about this because I have not talked about this project here on the podcast. I think it was like a year ago, I wanted to try and make my own sock patterns, but I don't know, the motivation for making like an actual pattern just kind of like comes and goes. So at this point, I think for now at least, I have these socks that I made one pair in like 2 days, or I mean one sock in like 2 days sometime last year. And I told myself, oh, I'll write up a pattern for it and then make the second, like to complete the pair, the second side, using my pattern to make sure that it worked out. But that never happened. So let me just show you what I have on the finished side. I am pretty much, like, it is just your most basic sock, but all I did was added this folded over cuff with a lace pattern that's from that knitting book, the lace knitting book, the Japanese one. I think it's called the Japanese Stitch Bible, if I'm correct. And so I just used one of those lace patterns and added it to the top of this sock, and I think it looks really cute and just kind of like just adds a little something to a other than plain sock. So I really like that. I actually feel like the lace pattern kind of looks like butterflies. That was my like initial thoughts on that. So that's the finished side that I finished last year, and then I finally decided this week to finish it and start the second side. And so I am about here. I think I could maybe soon start working on the toe. So I am almost done, but yeah, a work in progress. Almost done, almost there. It's been a year. I think these are actually my longest, they might be my longest works in progress that I have, because I finished one side last year. So I actually have another sock pattern that I tried to make up that, again, I finished one side and just haven't worked on the second. So I'm making some progress by finally finishing these, hopefully. The goal is end of this year. I could probably finish this tomorrow if I tried, but by the end of this year, that's the goal, to finish these socks. Probably no pattern for it, because I just don't really have the time or brain space to do that, but they'll just be my own self-drafted socks that are really cute. Yeah, okay. And then the one thing that I brought here that I forgot to write in my notes is the Great Gingham Raglan sweater pattern. So I'm pretty sure I talked about this in a previous video, maybe a couple videos ago, but I finally finished the second sleeve, which I finished sometime this week. So now I have two sort of complete sleeves. Like, I just have to work on the body and then attach it because it's worked bottom up. But I have two sleeves now, and I finally started working on the body. So I can show you that. I started the body 2 days ago, and I've gotten through 1.5 repeats of like the charted like color pattern, and I really like how it's working up. And yeah, I just wanted to show some progress on that. I am super happy with the colors for this. I think it came out really well. I was worried about contrast, like if it's enough contrast, but I think like up close it kind of looks, maybe because the stitches are all different tensions, that it looks like there's not enough contrast, but when you look at it from far away, you can definitely tell the different colors, and so I'm really happy with the result of that. So that is this sweater, and let me just write it in my notes so that I don't forget to put it in the description below. So, and just a reminder again, hopefully everything that I talk about, I will have the descriptions in the description box down below, but if I ever do miss something, just let me know and I can give you the information on it. Okay, and then I also, this is actually another thing I forgot to put in my notes to talk about, but I am in another test knit that just started recently. Ooh, why is it blurry? So I made a gauge swatch because I always gauge swatch for test knits, and as you can see, it looks like a, ooh, what am I trying to say here? This is a stitch pattern that I made the gauge swatch for, and it's supposed to be like a, looks like a cable, but you don't actually do any cabling, which is really cool. And this is one of those times where I'm so glad I gauge swatch, because I am a little off. It is a little big, so I will have to go down a needle size for the actual when I start casting on. And this is, I'm going off the top of my head. I'm not great, especially when I'm not like super nervous talking in front of the camera, but when there's like, I know I'm being recorded, my brain kind of shuts off. That's why I really need the notes on the side here. But this is a test knit for Varan Rose, and I have previously tested for her, and so I love her patterns. And this is for, I forget, actually I can probably look it up really fast on my phone, where I am also recording the voiceover, but I think it should be okay. Let's see. Okay, it is the Maricia cardigan test knit. I think that's how you say it. And so I'm really excited to get started soon. And again, really happy I gauge swatch, because I need to change my needle size to be something smaller. And the yarn I decided to use is, I'm gonna have a hard time saying this name. I think it is, where's the brand? Is the brand name on the tag? Hold on, let me take off the tag here. So I ordered this from Shop La Mercerie, and this is, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure it's like, oh here, Rerum Natura. I'm just gonna hold it up here, but also type it out in the description below. Focus. Focus. Is it focusing soon? Okay, I hope you can kind of see it there. And it's Penelope, which is the yarn like type, and it's in the colorway chocolate. I'm just gonna type it in the description below because I don't want to mess up how to pronounce that. But it is a mauvey brown is how I would describe it. So I wanted something kind of neutral because it's going to be a cardigan that I want to wear it like with everything. But I still wanted some color because I don't really like I think things that are like neutrals, like white or brown, gray, are very pretty, but I like knitting things that have a bit of color. And so I like that this has a bit of, it's brown, but purpley mauve color. And so that's what I decided to go with. And I believe this is a DK weight. It is 90% wool and 10% silk, which I don't know if I've used a yarn that had that composition before, but I really like it so far. Like the feel of it's really nice. So yeah, excited to get started on that. So another work in progress, even though I just did the gauge swatch, but I should be casting that on pretty soon. Okay. So I think that might be it for my works in progress. There's kind of a lot because I had, once I got back from my trip, I had this urge to just cast on a whole bunch of stuff and start kind of like working on things that I left here and could not or did not bring with me back home to Hawaii. So yes, is that it for the works in progress? Let me check my pile here. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, now onto the acquisitions, which I think might take up a lot of time. I'm gonna just like stop the camera and restart because my camera also likes to turn off about like every 25 minutes, which is really annoying, but it's a good time for me to stop and restart right now. Okay, so acquisitions. I don't know where to start. Let me start with ones that I've already kind of shown because I did cast on projects with some of them, and hopefully that'll go by somewhat quickly. Okay, so I got the yarn that I am using for my Aurelia pullover. It's the Sewrella Cashmere DK in the Butterscotch colorway. And with this order, I also got, and I finally got the Sewrella knitting needle set. So let me find that here to show you guys. Oh, okay, so I finally got the Sewrella interchangeable knitting needle set, and because I think when she first released them, they sold out within minutes, maybe like a couple minutes, and then she restocked them again and they sold out. And I think, did I get it during the 3rd restock or the 4th restock? I'm not sure, but I felt like I got pretty lucky because they sold out again. But this is like the knitting needle set of, like, if I had to design one, this is what I would, I think, come up with. Like, the book, the case that it comes in is so cute. It's just this, like, pink gingham pattern. And I love pink, so everything pink. Also, the needles are like a rose gold pink. And as you can see, some are empty because I am already using some of them in my projects right now. And it also has a zippered section here to hold like the cords, and it also came with a whole bunch of not stitch markers, but like the ones that are round. Like you can't clip them onto the stitches, but they're stitch markers. Sorry, I don't know. But the ones that are just circular, and they come, those are also in 2 sizes. It comes with the knitting needle stoppers, like you can put at the top on hold, and then also I've never used interchangeable needles. Ooh, I do have one out here so I could like hold it. I've never used ones. I've only ever had one set of interchangeable needles, and they were not cheap, but they were the only ones that I heard of at the time, and believe they're the Takumi brand, the wooden or bamboo ones. But they don't have something that this one does have, which is, ooh, it's so small you won't be able to see it, but there's a hole here where these needles connect, and there's like this like metal thing that you put in there to make it really tight so that they won't untwist while you're knitting. And so far it's been fantastic, because my other needles, they always untwist while I knit, and so my stitches will get caught and I have to, you know, pull them to the side and like retwist it like every so often. And that's just like how I've been knitting for the past 2 years. So I'm really excited to have needles that are actually like have a bit more features in it. And also what I really like is that even though the cords are plastic, they're not twisted. Like my other ones, I've been using them for so long that you would think that at this point that they would be pretty straight, but they still get so twisted. But these ones, I don't know what it is about them, but they're flat, even though you like twist them up and stuff. So they've been really great. They are metal needles, which I was also kind of like curious about because I've never actually like I've only used those Takumi knitting needles, and so the metal has been interesting. They are a brushed finish. So one thing I have noticed that I'm not sure how I feel about yet, like I love how they feel and how they work, like how they feel and using it for actual knitting, but they're very loud, and not just clacky loud. I mean, they're not loud, but one thing that has got, like when I think because of the brushed finish, whenever it's not just when they're like tapping together, but when you're kind of like moving them across each other, you can hear it. So that's just like one thing. It's one thing I did notice about these, was that they do like make a sound. So, and it's not just a clacky sound. It's like with everything you're doing. It's a clack, then a slidey sound, if that makes I don't even know if the camera's probably picking it up, but it's just one thing I noticed. It's not really a big deal, but I've really been liking using these needles. So yeah, the only thing is I do tend to knit more on smaller needles, and the smallest size that this set has is a US 4. So maybe eventually, I wonder if she'll have smaller needles available at some point for the interchangeable needles, because I also find myself, I feel like US 4 I use a lot, and I also use 3 and 2, and then 1 for socks. So, but these have been great so far, and I have been using them in my projects so far this week. And again, just love the packaging on this, and super happy that I was able to get it. Okay, and then I got a really large shipment, or my pre-order from the Sewrella New York collection. So let's get started with that. It's all kind of in a huge box here. Should I lift up the box? I'll lift up the box. So I got it in the really big box here, and I am so excited about everything that I got from this order, so we'll just get started. So first thing I want to show is I finally ordered some of the popcorn from Sewrella. She's talked about it and had like all these different flavors from a few collections ago, I think, but I just haven't bought any, but this time I decided to get one, and this one is in the chocolatey cinnamon, or no, chocolatey churro, well, cinnamon popcorn. I was going to say colorway. It's not a colorway, and it's really good. I've already opened it. What I really appreciated, it was pretty filled to the top. Like, I was kind of expecting, you know how everything is just filled to the middle? Like, this one was actually like filled almost to the top, and so I really appreciated that with this, and it tastes really good. And I'm still snacking on it. So that was great. That might have been actually the first thing I opened after I looked at all the yarn. I opened that and started eating it that night when I got my order. Okay, and then I'll talk about more of the like miscellaneous things that I got from this collection. Oh, this was not part of the collection per se, but speaking of the interchangeable knitting needle set I also got the crochet hook set, which comes in the same really cute book, not color, oh my gosh, the book packaging. So if I compare it side by side, I think the knitting needle one is just like a tad bigger, but they're pretty much the same. But this one just has all crochet hooks, and I am using one right now for the Kelly crew neck. So I think that this is going to be really great because I do have one crochet kind of like set. I think they're metal, and they're okay, but they don't like really excite me to crochet. I got another like plastic crochet hook set, and the way that the handle is on those is like strange. Like, they hurt my hand, even though they're supposed to be ergonomic. I think, you know why? It's because I think most people crochet holding their hook like this, but I crochet holding it like this. So I think the plastic ones that I have are good if you hold your crochet hook like this and you crochet like this, but I crochet like this. So I really need the handle to be closer to the hook because that's just how I crochet. And I was kind of worried that I'd end up with the same problem with these, but they've been great. This has the same, I believe, like brushed metal. Is it metal? I think so. And it's just aesthetically really cute and pink. And they're very light, which I really like because I think my other metal crochet hooks, like, they're small and light, but they are heavier than these, I think. At least the way that I've been working with this. Feels really nice, and they're so cute, which makes me want to crochet more, which I always would like to feel motivated to do. So I'm also, again, really happy with these. And it also comes with like It's a lot of crochet hooks. Is it 10? Yeah, there's 10 crochet hooks. Some of these are like really small. I don't think I've ever used a crochet hook this small. It is, the only thing is I have to turn them around in the, or take them out in the, not container, oh my gosh, the book to see what size they are. This one that I think is really small is 2.25 millimeters. I hope one day I'll have a project where I can use it, but we'll see. So yeah, again, just something that I'm really excited to have kind of a set and something to carry it all in. So there's that. And then, all right, for all of the scents that came with this collection, because I love all of the scents that Sewrella does, I got the candle in the scent Brooklyn, and it smells familiar to me, but I can't really figure out what. It just smells, I'm just gonna say all of it smells really good and expensive in a good way. It almost smells minty, but that's not like the main scent. It smells like something you would smell in a high-end clothes store, I think, is how I would describe that. It smells really good, so I can't wait to light this. Where do I put this while I talk about and pull out everything else? Okay. I got 3 wool washes. I believe I got one in every scent that they had in this collection. And, okay, I used one already in the scent Sweater Weather. Do I remind myself what it smells like? This one smells very, like, apple-y. Wouldn't it be funny if that was not the scent description? To me, it smells like apples, but not like green apple. It smells like fall, winter, apple, cinnamon smell. It doesn't even smell like cinnamon. I'm gonna say that that's at least the vibe that I'm getting off of the Sweater Weather scent. Okay, let's open up this other one. Also, I love the packaging on everything. It's changed throughout the years that I've been buying wool wash from Sewrella, and she's also changed her wool wash formula, but it's great. Like, I love it. Okay, this one is in Brooklyn, the same scent as the candle, so I won't open that because it probably smells the same. Okay, then this last one I got in Autumn in New York. I need to smell this one. It smells so good. Okay. Oh, this one smells like clean and fresh. Yeah, that's what that smells like. Ooh, maybe I'll use this one for the next thing that I wash. Okay. I love Sewrella's wool washes. Maybe, would it be interesting at all to like show you all of the wool washes I have? Honestly, a good smelling wool wash makes it so much more pleasant to hand wash my knits. At least to me, I feel like that's probably why I don't mind hand washing my things, because I love smelling the wool washes. Okay. And then I also got the stickers that came with the collection. I really didn't need it, but like they're so cute. They're just very, the theme was Autumn in New York, so that's what this is. If I'll ever use, like, I love stickers, but I never know where to put them because I feel like it's so permanent. Once you put it on something, you can't take it off, and what if you, like, don't use that thing anymore? I don't know. Okay, those are so cute. Okay, one more thing before I get to the yarn from this collection. Oh, I got this bag from this collection. And, okay, let me just show you the bag because it probably just speaks for itself. Oh, I should have tied it. It came really cute. Let me do that really quick. So, okay. If I can tie a bow really cute. Okay, here we go. It's so cute. Now the lighting's getting really yellow on me, so hopefully that doesn't distort it too much. But this is the bag. It is a light blush pink color. It has this tie to close the bag. And let me just open it so you can see the inside. Just pull it open. Okay, this is what it looks like inside. There is a zipper here, a zippered portion in the back, and it has this strap that you can probably wear it on the side like this, or just over one shoulder also on the side like this. And it has this pouch connected to the handle on the side, and I think what's really cute is it has this like 4-inch ruler printed on it, which is so cute. And you can open it like that. And I just really think it's so cute, and I'm excited to use it. And I think it was kind of made to be like a project bag, a big project bag, which I will definitely use it for, but who knows, I might use it as just a purse also, you know, because it's just really cute. And yeah, this is the bottom, if you're curious. Very good size bag, very cute. And also, the bag came in this bag, which is also cute. Like, I was like, this is definitely another project bag for things as well. And yeah, oh, so I want to mention, okay, the bag was made by Pasley and Gold. Let me bring it up again. Pasley and Gold, and it was in collaboration with Sewrella for this collection. And I think that it might still be selling in the market on the Sewrella site. Yeah, very cute. And it was made in Columbus, Ohio. Pretty sure that's what the OH. I hope I'm not wrong because that would be super embarrassing. And the material is a pebbled leather. So, yeah. I was just really excited about it, and even more excited that it came in this bag, because this, again, is another cute bag that you could put your bigger sweater projects in, and it's drawstring also. So, that was another surprise. It's really cute. Okay. Now, finally, onto the yarn. Apologies because I didn't take the yarn out of the plastic, so I'm gonna take them out of the plastic here, and hopefully it's not too loud for you. Okay, I've already again talked about this colorway, but I just want to show it again. This is the classic sport base in the colorway Jazz in the Park, which is what I'm using for my Kelly crewneck sweater. Pink, green, brown, and blue, and it's just, I don't know, I would have never thought to put these colors together, but they work so nicely together, and it's just so calming as a variegated color. So pretty. So sweater quantities of this. Okay, and then I got some more. Sorry. Okay, so let's talk about this one. So I got a classic sock base in the colorway Theater, which I feel like I always get. I love pinks that are this color, that they're just a mauvey pink, pinky brown, neutral pink. Nothing too bright, nothing too like magenta-y, but a very rosy kind of pink. And I am planning to make a shawl with this color. Ooh, it's a very nice pink color. And this is a tonal, I believe. And then I I kind of wish I bought more of this colorway because it's so pretty. Oh, I got this in the cashmere sock base, and just feeling it here, it's very soft and squishy. And this is in the colorway Nolita. And oh, it's looking very white in the camera, but it is a very creamy white with hints of pink and gray in there. Hopefully you can see that. This one is a variegated color. Oh yeah, the lighting is not doing this too well, but hopefully you'll get the idea. Also, I am obsessed that for this collection that they changed their labels because this was a collection in collaboration with Alexi of Two of Wands, and so they have her on the labels, which I think is so cute. So I'll probably keep one of these labels just so I can keep one as memories. So yeah, Nolita. I hope they bring back this colorway for greatest hits because it's so pretty. Very me, pink, a light pink, gray, variegated color. Okay. And then, last but not least from this collection, I really tried to hold back. If you can, it probably doesn't seem that way, but I really tried to get, I wanted to make sure I had projects in mind for my pre-order yarn, but not just like I want to make a sweater out of every single color I want. So I've tried really hard, but I had to get this colorway, which is like the namesake for the collection, Autumn in New York. It is what Alexi used in her sample of the Kelly crew neck, which I was so tempted to also make with, but I ended up using the Jazz in the Park for that. But I had to get this colorway for another sweater. So, I mean, this is just the most like autumny color because it has those caramel browns, purple, dark pink colors, kind of like the gray purples, very like moody, but not like dark, if that description works. It's just very, very, very autumn. It is autumn. Don't know about autumn in New York because I've never been in New York in autumn, but as what I could maybe picture and imagine, this totally works. It's like berry reds. Not red, but you know, berry purples colors. And I really like this together, and I'm excited to make something with this because they're so pretty. It's so pretty. I love all of the colors. All of the yarn. Just makes me so happy to look at them and just squish them. Okay, so that is it from the Autumn in New York collection from Sewrella. I do have a couple more yarns to share, which I am really excited about because they're from a yarn dyer that I have been looking and watching out for on Instagram. And I haven't bought yarn from her yet until now. And I finally got my order in. Okay, this is Lavender Fiber Co. And I got two colorways. I got two skeins each of these colorways. And okay, I'll show this one first. This is called Vintage Florals. These two. I am really excited that specifically, I think for Lavender Fiber Co., their colors, like pastel-like colors, are so pretty and delicate and just like the right amount of, it is so subtle, but not so subtle that you can't see the color, but so it's still there, but not overwhelming, not too little. Like it's the right amount, at least for my taste. So, especially in this really bad lighting I'm having because it's starting to get really dark early in the day, it might be hard to tell. But this one is a creamy white base, and it has, you might be able to tell more in this skein, that it has some blues, some bluey greens, and some pinks and purples. And this one, slight orange and yellowish kind of tone overall as far as the white goes. But I'm excited to see how this works up together. I have some ideas, but I'm not quite sure what to use them for yet. But yeah, I'm really excited to see a yarn dyer have very light colors, because for me, when there's, I can never get myself to buy a white colored yarn. For me, it's, even though it's beautiful, and I'm sure it took a lot of time and effort to get the dyeing formula right, to get the perfect like white shade, I can't get myself to buy a white yarn, because I feel like it's just, if I'm gonna pay for hand-dyed yarn, I want it to be like a color. Again, not saying that white yarn is easy to dye, because it's probably might be the most difficult, because you need to get it just right to be white and not like a different color. But so anyway, all I'm trying to say is I really like that these look very white and neutral, but if you look at it close, like it has the most beautiful like pastel colors throughout, and I feel very happy paying for hand-dyed yarn that looks like this, that is almost white, but has pastel colors in it. That was a lot of words, but that's just kind of my feeling on buying a more white-based colored yarn. And anyway, along with that same kind of thinking, I got this other colorway that probably, and again, in this lighting, looks the same as the other one, but this is in the colorway Nimbus. And I think this one has a bit more pinky blues. The Vintage Florals does have a more orangey yellow tone to the skein, and a darker, I think like has just like a darker vintage feel to it, as the name would suggest. And Nimbus has a very more cheerful kind of pastel color look to it. So again, you can see, I can see the pinks here. You can see the blues here. There's some purple over here, and just very delicate and happy looking pastel-y color. So yeah, I'm very happy with both of these. I'm very excited to use them and to see, like, sometimes in the skein you can't really like, you can, at least to me, you can never really tell how it's going to look knitted up. So I'm just excited to see, as with every single yarn I buy, I'm excited to see how they look knitted up. So that's these. My first order from Lavender Fiber Co. And I love the yarn labels, love the yarn. I'm excited to try them out. Oh, and I also want to mention all of the yarn that I got in the Ritzy sock base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's a 2-ply, 400 yards, 100 grams. Yes, okay. So I'm gonna put that box down. Okay, so hopefully that didn't feel too rushed. I did want to make sure I didn't like go way into like the video getting too long, and then the sunlight outside starts, it's like non-existent. It's still kind of, it's getting dark outside, and the lighting's getting, you can see, very yellow tone because of the lamp I have here, but I'm just really excited to share all of this with all of you. It's been a few weeks, and so I did have a lot to share, and I hope that it was enjoyable to watch and that you found it interesting. And as always, let me know in the comments down below what project you're currently working on, if you are working on something, or something that you're hoping to cast on soon, because I now, with all of this yarn, I have so many things that I want to cast on. But again, I am trying to make sure that I work on the things that I already have in progress as well. But, you know, I am no stranger to just casting on a bajillion things at a time. And now that I have more knitting needles, that may be, it's a good thing, but also a bad thing, because now I have more needles to just hold my projects on. So anyway, that will be the end of this video. I won't hold you for too much longer, but again, I am happy to be back. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me while I took my little break there, and I will see you in my next video. Oh, and if you want to follow me, because I do post on my Instagram every so often, and especially like finished object pictures, feel free to follow me on my Instagram at arieknits. It's the same name as this podcast. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again later. Bye!